Good evening. You're watching Newsplus with me, Wadzanai Sansole, and these are your top stories. Zimbabwe seeks Japan's support in UN Security Council seat bid. Stop abusing president's name for personal gain. Zimbabwe charts new path towards sustainable health financing. And in sport, Herento's Queens brace for African safari. We now take a closer look at the stories making the headlines this Wednesday evening. Zimbabwe is confident in Japan's backing in its bid to secure a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council, leveraging the two nations' growing bilateral relationship. This is what President Mnangagwa has said. Now, the president met with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba on the sidelines of the ongoing 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD. And Zimbabwe's bid for a non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council for the 2027 to 2028 term has already been endorsed by both the SADC and the AU and other global powers. Now, with Zimbabwe eyeing a UN Security Council non-permanent seat for 2027 to 2028, the president said there is nothing that could hinder Japan, which is the fourth largest economy in the world, from supporting the country's bid at the UN.
Well, as you are fully aware, we're happy to have met again after some time. The relations between Zimbabwe and Japan continue to strengthen, and this incident also confirms the warmth of relations between Zimbabwe and Japan. And I have no doubt that when we meet later on, we shall go into more extensive and comprehensive discussions. I have no doubt, considering the warm relations that exist between the two countries, I don't see any constraint that would constrain them from supporting our bid.
Now, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba stressed the need for continued cooperation in stabilizing the trade of petalite, a valuable mineral produced in Zimbabwe. And after meeting with Prime Minister Ishiba, President Mnangagwa attended the official opening of this year's TICAD, whose theme is emphasizing on co-creating, signaling a commitment to shared responsibility and ownership of projects. Now, ZTN foreign correspondent Fungi Kwaramba, who is covering the event, gives us an update.
This summit is more than just diplomacy. There is a fundamental shift happening here. The old language of aid is gone, replaced by a new vocabulary of partnership. To capitalize on these opportunities, the president has brought a powerful delegation, including Finance Minister Mutune Ngove, Foreign Affairs Minister Professor Amon Morwira, Energy and Power Development Minister July Moyo, and several top-ranking government officials.
We are now joined by a markets and economic analyst, Tapiwa Mangwiro, to look into the potential investment and trade opportunities that are available between Zimbabwe and Japan. Good evening, Tapiwa. How strategic is the Tokyo International Conference on African Development event to Zimbabwe?
Yes, TICAD is very strategic for Zimbabwe because if you look at the overall goal, the overall macroeconomic goal of Vision 2030 and upper middle income society, you will see that these are the steps that we should be taking and the correct steps that we are taking, because there are so many memoranda of understanding that will be signed between government and government, also business to business, and expect headlines in terms of infrastructure development, health facilities, also energy and agriculture sector, because the TICAD is there for the mantra, we are open for business. So this is the time that our local businesses can showcase their own opportunities that they have, so that they partner with the the Japanese, also the government of Japan, and also the business of Japan.
So Tapiwa, how can Zimbabwe amplify its trade with Japan?
If you look at the balance of trade, it weighs heavily to the Japanese. If you see that in 2024, we imported goods worth 60 million from Japan, which is mainly vehicles and machinery. And then we exported about 20 million worth of goods to Japan, which is made mainly of tobacco, petrolites. We have also labor, which is also one of our key exports to Japan. Then in 2024 again, we started exporting coffee after 20 years or 21 years, if I'm not wrong. So it's a growing phase. If you look at the past 5 years, you see that our trade is growing. So TICAD is also strategic in that point of view, that we need to exchange more goods between Japan and Zimbabwe. And as Zimbabweans, this is the opportunity for us to now know what exactly does Japan need from us? What exactly does Japan want from Zimbabwe? We have seen that coffee is one of a great export. So we now have to leverage on those things. Then also in terms of what we can get from Japan, if we can leverage our space technology, get space technology from Japan, and also for the benefit of the region, because we now know that artificial intelligence is now a topic of interest, and we need to be a part of that in terms of in Africa, in SADC, so that we grow as an economy locally and also regionally.
Thank you very much, Tapio, for sharing your insights with us here on Newsplus. And still on the same topic, we have Eben Mabunda joining us live to help us look at some of the opportunities which exist to enhance trade and cooperation between Zimbabwe and Japan.
Well, good evening. The value of trade between Zimbabwe and Japan is currently sitting at about $80 million, having grown 2.5 times from a 2017 value of about $27 million. Now, when you look at that, of course, matrix, you'd find Zimbabwe is a net importer. Let's start by looking at what it is that Zimbabwe is importing from Japan. That's pretty much machinery. You've got trucks, vehicles, and of course, industrial chemicals that have dominated the value of imports from Japan, owing to the advancement where industrialization is concerned on the part of Japan, with a value of $62 million worth of imports, of course, sourced from Japan. That's in 2023-2024. Now, moving on to what Zimbabwe has been exporting to Japan, you've got your tobacco, your precious stones, cotton, as well as raw hides. Now, when you look at these products, you'd find most of these items are being exported in their raw state, leaving much room for, of course, growth where value addition is concerned. And according to the statistics, in 2024, Zimbabwe exported goods worth $18 million. And now the big question is, how can Zimbabwe grow the value of its exports, and what other areas of growth could Zimbabwe explore and somewhat try and change the matrix, especially where, of course, the exports aspect of things are concerned. And these would frame the areas that Zimbabwe could glean value. Of course, collaboration where tourism is concerned. Japan is pretty massive on, of course, tourism. And now the big question is how to lure, of course, Japanese tourists to come over here to Zimbabwe.
Now, Eben, only in the interest of time, I'd have to cut you short there, but thank you very much for giving us the breakdown of the trade and cooperation between Zimbabwe and Japan. And still on our top stories, Vice President Kembo Mohadi has called on Southern African Development Community member states to deepen economic cooperation and enhance trade among themselves in a bid to attain economic emancipation and transform the region into a formidable economic bloc. And in his remarks while interfacing with the Boma community after visiting the Boma mass grave in Moxico, in the province in Angola, he emphasized that unity and mutual support among SADC nations on economic matters would accelerate the attainment of economic independence. The vice president said while the region secured political freedom decades ago, the ultimate goal of total emancipation can only be realized when member states take full control of their economic resources.
We are very far away from being independent.
Nós já temos nossas independências há bom tempo.
Well, we got our political independence, which is political emancipation.
Nós conseguimos então a nossa emancipação política.
In the early 70s and in the 80s, the 90s.
Nos finais dos anos 70 e no princípio dos anos 80 e também no princípio dos anos 90.
It is indeed true that we have our own parliaments.
É graças às nossas independências que hoje possuímos os nossos próprios parlamentos.
We have got our own judicial systems.
Conseguimos os nossos sistemas judiciais.
We have got our own executive.
E temos também os nossos próprios executivos.
But the ultimate goal,
mas o objetivo último
for total emancipation of a people
é a total emancipação das pessoas.
Is that when you get your own economic independence.
In other news, a strong warning has been issued to those using the names of the president and his deputies for their gain. Secretary for Presidential Affairs and Devolution, Engineer Tafadzwa Muguti, delivered the warning in Harare on Wednesday. Now, you may know name dropping is a practice of casually mentioning the names of famous or powerful people that one knows or claims to know in order to impress their victims and gain favors.
We are seeing that, especially in party provinces, there are people writing letters, asking for land, asking for donations, using the party's name. And there are other people who are likewise giving themselves certain powers, writing letters on behalf of government. I would like to caution those people that we are onto them. As the Office of the President and Cabinet, we will not stand aside and watch people enrich themselves with the name of our principals and the name of the party at large. We are undergoing extensive investigations as also the President Cabinet, and we are aware who these people are. And we've also noticed that the same individuals have now invaded the yellow and red zones of the Harare International Airport. I would like to make it very clear and categorically clear that the presidential title of this program is not going to be a certificate of authenticity for criminals.
Now, on the upcoming ZANU-PF conference scheduled for October the 13th to the 18th, Engineer Muguti highlighted that most of the resolutions made at the last conference have been achieved. The party deploys its representatives into the central government.
It is very important to note as well that from the Ministry of Finance, our tax base is growing. It was a major requirement last year. And I'm happy that our tax base is growing because this speaks into the 5% of devolution funds, which then is shared among the 92 local authorities. But of significance has been the aspect that we have, for the first time, seen a dramatic increase in the implementation of war veterans, implementation of resolutions, since we have got the Ministry of War Veterans there. We're also seeing a lot of effort from the Ministry of Home Affairs in line with the party resolutions to decrease the aspect of drugs. As you know, that there's a committee, national committee chaired by the Honorable Minister of Defense, Comrade Osizet Mchingurkashiri.
That was a warning being issued out to those that are using the president's name for personal gain. But still to come on Newsplus, Zimbabwe charts new path towards sustainable health financing.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
Are You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Welcome back. You are watching Wednesday's edition of Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime, channel 294 on DSTV. Now, as we continue, international support continues to decline. Zimbabwe is ramping up efforts to bolster domestic health financing to ensure the continuity and sustainability of vital health services. Speaking on the sidelines of the health sector working group meeting that was held in Harare, the Secretary for Health and Childcare, Dr. Aspect Maunganidze, acknowledged the mounting pressure on the country's health financing. He emphasized that while development partners have historically played a crucial role, the path forward must be anchored in homegrown solutions to build a resilient and self-reliant health system. We give you more in the following report.
Boosting homegrown funding is essential if the country hopes to build health systems that stand the test of time. Over the years, the country has made remarkable progress in improving healthcare infrastructure and services, and the extent of funding has been instrumental in achieving these gains.
We have always worked with partners, and we continue to work with partners. None of the players in this whole matrix is more important than the other. It's known that you can only build your systems yourselves, but you need partners who might be able to identify areas that need to be strengthened.
The World Health Organization acknowledges Zimbabwe's progress in strengthening health systems, further noting the Global Health Board will help the country identify challenges and solutions within the sector.
I think Zimbabwe is doing a great job in improving the life expectancy and reducing the maternal mortality rate. But there are areas that discussed previously by PS as well, that neonatal mortality or perinatal mortality that needs additional work to reduce those mortalities across the country.
Experts further applauded the country for reducing the country's maternal mortality, however highlighting a worrying increase in neonatal mortality. Civil society has called on the government to ensure healthcare institutions in remote and marginalized communities are well resourced to bridge the gaps of access and availability of healthcare services, especially in maternal and neonatal care.
So critical for Zimbabwe is to make sure that the mother and child's life are well protected and well resourced, so that at least we save lives. Currently, we have serious shortages of health workers, like midwives, who really should cater for the saving of lives. And also we don't have doctors in our rural areas.
In the absence of a strengthened domestic health financing, the country risks reversing gains made in public health. It's a huge task for the country with an urgent need to find robust strategies for health financing to sustain health systems. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo.
That was a report on sustainable health financing. Now, moving on, in Bulawayo's Phumula South suburb, residents are celebrating a breakthrough. For the first time in more than 20 years, water is flowing from their taps. And the Bulawayo City Council finally installed a new valve, connecting households and bringing an end to a 2 decades ordeal. Andy Lechuma gives us more.
Water, the essence of life. For over 20 years, it has been a luxury that residents of Ward 27 in Phumula South, Bulawayo could only dream of. But today, that dream becomes a reality. Taps are running, and with them, a new chapter begins. Residents recall that in 2008, over 1,200 households were left without water when a vital pipe was not connected.
Ngoba besikha amanzi kwesinye isikhathi siyelindela nemthonjeni lwana. I think besilindelana kade kusikha ngo11 ebusuku. Sivuke lapha singena entabeni lapha mbele yazibona izintaba zonezi. Singena ezintabeni siyethatha amanzi silindele ukuthi umthombo ubhobhoze. Yiwo amanzi esasesiwanatha thina lawa. Impilo yakhona ibingekho right ibizima kakhulu. Ibizima sibila amanzi ayegangeni lapha ngwanathile mina kakhulu. So khathesi siyabonga.
Families relied on these pits and shallow wells, which doubled as open toilets, risking their health and lives. Lives have been lost as more than 5 children have drowned at the unsecured sand pits over the years in search of water, while some sought a place to cool off on a hot summer day. Kaise Kaluma, Ward 27 Secretary, says local residents have endured long and painful years without water but paying full rates. He asked to take the news crew to the place that has been the community's water source. A rough, rocky terrain, and one only wonders how they have been navigating it.
Bekule challenge enkulu sibili. Ngoba ugogo ukuthi abuye edondolozi ebuya ngapha. Lo mkhulu kuba nzima. Labana abuye maybe oyahambe nge-wheelchair yakhe. Bengakwanisi ukuthi ngoba ngibonile le ndlela esibuye ngazo ukuthi uzayifuqa kanjani i-wheelchair yakho. Indawo yangikhona ilezinto ezintaba ilamadwala amakhulu akufuqeki. So at the end of the day uyagcina sesiyadinga umuntu ozamthathela abese sokukhulunyiswana.
For the elderly, it was unbearable. Virginia Miller says she spent nearly 2 decades trekking across rocky hills for this precious resource.
Ayamanzi asihlupha sibili iminyaka eminingi kakhulu. Ngicabanga ngo-2007 sasihamba siye kukhale. Ungahamba ngekhara kwakulokuthi ibrijana so siye sinqome siye phansi siye kukha khona amanzi esingaziyo lokuthi ngamanzi avela ngani ngoba amanzi akhona usithi ungawabhoyila uwabone esibalekweni.
For Qiniso Ndebele, the water is more than a service, it is the return of dignity. 19 years after building her home, she can now shower in her own house.
Until manje khona ngibona so inyanga le 1 month and 2 weeks I think so athola amanzi kahle njengabanye.
Ward 27 Councillor Lizzie Swanda says after residents petitioned the council, a partnership was struck, and in July 2025 the connection was restored.
Sibesile ndawo akade singatholi amanzi from 2008 up to now. Esakwenzayo singama residents, mina ngalalela ama residents izikhalazo zawo. Ngahamba la ze councilini ku department yamanzi. Babuya abe department yamanzi bazolalela bazokuzwa ukuthi izikhalazo zethu zazisithini.
From survival to relief, the people of Phumula South have finally reclaimed a basic human right.
Access to safe and potable water for Ward 27 residents here in Bulawayo has been a pipeline dream. The sand pits behind me have been the only reliable source of water for them for more than 20 years. However, following successful engagements with the Bulawayo City Council and successful connection to the municipal water supplies, the residents of Ward 27 are grateful. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
Now, at just 13 years old, Michaela Mushinga, who is based in England, is already making her mark in Zimbabwe's literary scene. Her debut book, I'm More Than the Black Girl, launched in Harare, it captures the raw emotions and struggles of young people that are confronting racism and adapting to new environments abroad. Our reporter Talent Gore has more.
Her book, I'm More Than the Black Girl, captures the struggles of many young people who move abroad and face the realities of racism while trying to adapt.
So I was writing about what it felt like to carry questions about who I am and where I belong, and why sometimes the world wants me to shrink instead of shine. And at first, I thought these were just my struggles. But the more I wrote, the more I realized I wasn't just telling my own story. I was telling the story of many young girls and boys who have felt labeled or judged or misunderstood.
For Michaela, this is just the beginning of what promises to be a bright literary journey.
This book is my way of saying you're more. You're more than the labels, you're more than the stereotypes, more than the limitations people put on you. And your uniqueness is not a weakness, it's your strength.
ICT Minister Tatina Mavetere, who was the guest of honor at the launch, praised Michaela for her courage and determination. She described the book as an important contribution to national and global conversations.
This book is more than a collection of experiences. It is a reflection of migration, of identity, belonging, and resilience. It captures the pain of stereotypes, the struggle of self-acceptance, and the joy of finding strength in one's uniqueness.
Behind her success is the strong support of her parents, who have nurtured a passion for reading and writing from an early age.
She has really made me feel small because of the courage that she has had to tell a message so big to a world that is so quick to judge, so quick to label, and so quick to manipulate blackness, uniqueness, and any sort of difference and being new in a certain society. So she has risen above that society.
With her first book now published, Michaela Mushinga has set the tone for a new generation of voices determined to challenge stereotypes and inspire change. From the love of her family to the recognition of the nation, Michaela Mushinga has shown that age is no barrier to making an impact. At only 13, she is using her voice to tell stories that matter. For ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gode in Harare.
Still on our top stories, over 20,000 Jehovah's Witnesses are set to converge on the National Sports Stadium in Harare this weekend for an international convention. Now, thousands of delegates from more than 16 countries have started arriving in Zimbabwe, a development that has seen hotels fully booked and the local tourism sector enjoying a major boost.
The National Sports Stadium is usually the home of football. But this weekend, it transforms into the center of a global religious gathering. Jehovah's Witnesses bring their international convention back to Harare with over 20,000 people expected in the capital, one of the 15 cities selected nationwide to host an international 3-day religious event.
We are expecting at least 2,000 international delegates coming, and we are expecting about 20,000 to 25,000 local attendees for each one. For the second one, we are also expecting about as well 2,000 international delegates. So in total, this makes it 4,000 international delegates coming in.
Beyond the stadium walls, the biggest winners are in hospitality and tourism. Hotels in and around the capital are fully booked, while lodges, Airbnbs and restaurants are also cashing in. Tour operators are also reporting brisk business ahead of the event.
These people coming around from all over the world to visit our beautiful country. And the love that the lady was talking about earlier on, we've already had some delegates who came from America and Nigeria actually.
Faith and tourism are converging, something known internationally as religious tourism, a significant sector that is potentially going to bring in millions of dollars into the economy.
What we have seen so far is, because we have contacted various stakeholders, as you saw from the meeting we had, we have the transport sector, we have the airline services, we have hotels, we have lodges that we have been including. We have also excursions. Just yesterday, I was with a team, they were in Imire. Another team was at Wild is Life. We had expressions from Ikwimbashiri. So the cumulative figure, we'll have it after the two conferences.
On social media, concerns are raised that the convention could disrupt ongoing renovations at the giant stadium. But organizers insist they are lending a hand by cleaning, tidying and ensuring the facility is in top shape.
The works that we have done, we did major cleaning. And this major cleaning is not just for our conferences, but it's also helping the cleaning which was supposed to be done. And we are not going to be using as a football match. It's just a religious conference. So we have put ourselves into it. We are also working with the team doing renovations to actually step them up.
And as tens of thousands gather in Harare, Zimbabwe is once again proving its capacity to host major international events while showcasing the hidden gems that it has. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Faith Nyaude in Harare.
Now, on a sad note, veteran photographer and researcher and storyteller Besta Kanyama has died. Kanyama died on Tuesday night in Harare after a long illness at the age of 93. His grandson, Michael Kanyama, confirmed the veteran photographer's death. And Kanyama, who made a name for himself as a photographer and researcher dating back to the 1950s, left an indelible mark with his dedication to his work during the colonial era. He also worked for the Daily News, which served as a mouthpiece for the rising nationalism in the country. Now, he represented his neighborhood of Highfield in Harare with pride before relocating to Southerton as one of the first successful black photographers. Now, funeral arrangements are still in progress, and mourners are gathered at number 37 Cavo Drive, Southerton in Harare. Those were the local stories we had for you, but shortly we'll take a look at what's happening in the world around us.
Two fans, one game. One of them paid for quality, the other didn't. ZTN Prime now offers premium live Premier Soccer League matches behind a paywall. Skip the stress. Watch your team in high definition, uninterrupted and in real time. ZTN Prime are paywall matches because real fans watch live.
Got some questions about Showmax? Well, we've got the answers. What is Showmax? Showmax is not a TV channel. It's a streaming service with tons of hit series, movies, and more. Plus, Premier League live on mobile. Just pick what you want and hit play. No schedule or airing times. With Showmax, you watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. For any other queries, find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
Thank you for staying tuned to Newsplus this Wednesday evening. Now, moving on with our bulletin, the U.S. has reached bilateral deportation agreements with Honduras and Uganda as part of its crackdown on illegal immigration. Uganda has agreed to take an unclear number of African and Asian migrants who had claimed asylum on the U.S.-Mexico border, while Honduras will receive several hundred deported people from Spanish-speaking countries. Now, this move is part of an attempt by Donald Trump's administration to get more countries to accept deported migrants who are not their own citizens. And under this agreement, Uganda has agreed to accept deported migrants as long as they do not have criminal histories. Honduras agreed to receive migrants over 2 years, including families traveling with children. Now, M23 rebels killed at least 140 people in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo last month in one of the worst atrocities by the armed group since its resurgence in late 2021. This is despite a peace process brokered by the US and Qatar to end the conflict in the region. Now, the Rwanda-backed rebels summarily executed local residents, including women and children, largely from the Hutu ethnic group. The rebels have previously strongly denied any role in these killings, calling the charges a blatant misrepresentation of the facts. And still on our global stories, persistent heavy rainfall hit some parts of northeast China's province and North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region from Monday to Wednesday, prompting immediate rescue and drainage operations. Dandong City received an average 71.9 millimeters of rainfall from Tuesday to Wednesday, peaking at 196.5 millimeters. Now, the municipal flood control headquarters has activated a level 3 emergency response.
首先我们对水库、水电站进行了预泄，其次我们加强了河道的巡查频次，对地灾点、尾矿库进行了重点的巡查摸排，发现隐患及时整改。另外就是对危险区的人员进行了立即的转移，我们一共转移人员4547人，确保人员群众安全。
Now, China's permanent representative to the United Nations, Fu Kong, has called for comprehensive measures to address sexual violence in conflicts. Speaking at a UN Security Council UNSC meeting during an open debate, the Security Council convened on conflict-related sexual violence. Fu stressed that China strongly condemns and firmly opposes all forms of sexual violence against women and girls.
我们希望为发展中国家促进妇女民生和发展提供支持，帮助发展中国家实施妇幼健康项目和快乐校园工程，培养女性人才。我们支持妇女署等联合国机构，帮助发展中国家，特别是冲突地区的妇女，有效应对贫困落后，弥合性别数字鸿沟。
And still on our foreign stories, Air Canada's flight attendants defied a government back-to-work order as the Canada Industrial Relations Board declared their strike unlawful, reigniting disputes over 8 months of failed contract negotiations and grounding the airline's recovery plans. Now, the leadership of the Canadian Union of Public Employees has been ordered to direct its members to return to work.
Where we made it clear again that this work stoppage, this strike, will end when we get a collective agreement that works.
Our hope is that the outcome will be that our employer will come back to the table and negotiate. We will happily go back to work with a respectful contract.
Now, deliberate strikes on hospitals, schools and aid hubs are shattering every tenet of humanitarian law, while the coffers of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, are running dry, leaving 11.5 million refugees and displaced people around the world facing a future without food, shelter or medical care.
So the biggest challenge we have right now is the complete violation of all principles of international humanitarian law, international human rights law, and international refugee law in many parts of the world. We are seeing this with the complete disregard for human life. You're seeing the way that civilian structures are no longer just collateral damage in conflicts. They are the deliberate targets. So whether we're talking about hospitals, schools, food distribution centers, displacement sites, these are all being deliberately targeted in conflicts to create as much casualties and as much damage as possible. And this is absolutely, absolutely intolerable and untenable. And what is happening right now is also that modern wars last longer, creates more prolonged human suffering and creates more casualties as well.
Tetra Pak dairy industry lead the way in waste recycling. That story is still to come in our Look at Business News.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
It's time now to take a look at what's happening on the economic landscape. One of the world-leading food processing and packaging solutions company, Tetra Pak, has collaborated with players in the local dairy industry for a series of recycling campaigns as part of efforts to promote a sustainable circular economy for carton packages. Secretary General for the Dairy Processors Association of Zimbabwe, Tendai Marecha, said that the campaign is aimed at bringing together recyclers, collectors and producers with the aim of recycling used beverage cartons.
We want to increase the volume of our pickings to at least 1,000 tons per month, so that by end of next year, so that at least we are going to get our factory locally. This is a potential value chain where we can create jobs, where we can create a lot of byproducts from the waste. Like if you see the furniture that is manufactured from waste, we will complement wood, which is non-renewable. It takes long. So with this, it's going to be complementing our natural resources in creating furniture. As a sector, we also have a responsibility to remove the waste from the end user. So most of the packaging, we want to pick it up from the end user, who are the consumers.
Now, the two parties also signed an agreement which will see Tetra Pak setting up a plant in the country if they reach a target of 1,000 tons of carton waste per month. And the group projects manager of recycling, Elvis Bika, speaks on the awareness campaigns which he said will be spread across the country.
It's quite key for us. Number one, those customers or consumers, they are of value to us. In the sense that we are already giving them our products in terms of production. So why is it important on that as well is they are going to benefit on two areas. It's number one, it's already a company which is also paying people for collecting. So it's already an industry of its own, because if you collect anything regarding those fundamentals of PET, Tetra Pak, you name it, the cardboards as well, if you bring it to our company, we are going to pay you something for that. So at the end of the day, you are benefiting, number one. Number two, as a country, you know, even from the president's side, he's always eager about the first day of every month cleanup campaigns. So it's also already a value addition to the country that we should do those initiatives as well. And you know, PET can last in the ground for almost like 15 years.
Now, the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion and the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, ZIMRA, held a tax education campaign initiative in Marondera that's aimed to increase public understanding of taxation and its role in national development. The meeting drew various provincial stakeholders, including business owners, residents associations and government officials. This tax awareness drive is part of a broader campaign to bridge the gap between taxpayers and authorities, enhance voluntary compliance and strengthen public trust in national institutions. Now, the Ministry of Finance said the program will run for 6 months and will be carried out in all the provinces of Zimbabwe.
The Tax Works campaign, See the Change in Your Community. It's a 6-month-long campaign where, as the Ministry of Finance together with ZIMRA, we are moving around the country's 10 provinces and will be visiting 3 districts per province, where we are urging people to pay tax. We want people to understand that it is the money from the tax that is driving socio-economic development. So we want people to see where they come in when it comes to national development. Generally, people don't seem to have an understanding of why they should pay tax, and to a certain extent, they say they don't see the benefit of why they are paying tax. And as government, we are taking this as an opportunity to explain to them that the roads that they see, the hospitals that they see, the teachers that teach their children at school, even the police officers that keep the peace and the soldiers and everything, the socio-economic care, the payment of the BIM program at the schools, and every government project and program is because people are paying tax.
Still on our business updates, Kafka Limited has posted its latest operational update, showing signs of recovery in sales volumes despite persistent structural challenges in the market. Sales volumes rose by 31% compared to the previous quarter, but still lagged 14% behind the same period last year. And on a year-to-date basis, volumes are down 16%, with copper cables slipping 6% and aluminium conductors and cables tumbling 37%. Now, a key pressure point has been the utility sector, where uptake dropped by nearly half year on year, weighed down by liquidity constraints. We spoke to Desire Muchipisi, a financial analyst, and this is what he said.
Kafka Q3 trading update reflects both the challenges of the current economic climate and encouraging signs of recovery within the business. Sales volumes rose 31% compared to Q2, a strong rebound that suggests improving liquidity in the economy. Though it's worth noting that volumes are still trailing last year, leaving year-to-date performance about 16% lower. And the weak points remain utilities and mining. But on the brighter side, construction, manufacturing and retail markets showed resilience with a double-digit growth supported by Kafka's deliberate efforts to strengthen relationships with the distributors and end users. So operationally, the company has made tangible progress. The commissioning of a new stranding machine and a shift restructure from 3 shifts to 2 shifts have boosted aluminium conductor capacity, improved planning, and delivered higher efficiency.
Those were your business updates, but do stay tuned to Newsplus for some entertainment and sports news still to come.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika like where you're sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no yeMzimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti Chindevere kana mumwe mutauri muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus and we're coming to you live from Harare. Now, what is happening in the world of entertainment? Here's something for those that love fashion. Bowing to public demand, fashion is now among categories at the Nama Awards, with maiden winners being crowned this year. The awards had been running for 23 years now, with people being honored in various categories that included music, theatre, literature, film and television, among others. Now, the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe's decision to include fashion highlights the council's commitment to recognizing the diverse and evolving landscape of creative expression in Zimbabwe. Now, 5 musicians from 5 countries will tour Zimbabwe and Zambia next month as part of a cross-cultural initiative called Frank Salis Experience, the Zambezi Sessions. Now, the project will run as a 2-week residency combining rehearsals, public concerts, and workshops in schools and cultural centers. This lineup includes Salis from Switzerland on Hammond keyboard, Alex Wesley from the US on trombone, Max Covini from Italy but based in Zimbabwe on drums, Mr. Chanks from Zambia on guitar, and Zimbabwean vocalist Teresa Muteta. Now, concerts in Harare and Bulawayo have been confirmed as official events of the Zimbabwe Jazz Festival, one of the country's largest annual music gatherings. And still on entertainment, as the year winds down, one question has gripped Zimbabwe's music lovers. Which track will claim the 2025 Song of the Year title? Our Herald Arts Desk managed to conduct a survey on which hit song deserves to be the Song of the Year. And 5 major contenders have emerged: Rujowa by Ja Preza, Mananga Matete by Kurai Makore, Dora Tovarwa by Janeta Calvins, Too Much by Nati O, and Ta 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 by Nyasha David, each bringing a unique vibe that resonates across diverse audiences. Now, with the festive season approaching, music awards, year-end charts, and public votes will determine the final verdict. Newsplus will be right back.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J. All right.
Put your seatbelt on.
Let's take a look at our sports updates. Herentals Queens are set to leave the country on Thursday morning ahead of this year's edition of the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifier that's set for Johannesburg, South Africa this weekend. Now, for Herentals Queens and their head coach Simbarashe Dedza, the tournament is important and they are out to do better than they did last year when they were eliminated in the semi-finals.
Yes, it's very important because it's the qualifiers of the Champions League. So last time we were eliminated in the semi-finals. So this time our target is to pass through the semi-finals and go to the final all the way to the trophy. That is our objective. Yes, it's not to be an easy thing, but we have tried and we have prepared well in terms of defending, in terms of keeping the ball, and in terms of also creating chances. That's what we worked. So we are ready for the tournament. Yes, we learned. It was our first time. We were happy with the progression because it was our first time and we managed to reach the semi-finals. Now we learned 1 or 2 lessons and we have prepared and we have corrected what went wrong. So now we are ready for the tournament again.
Now, on a sad note, the Zimbabwe Football Association has confirmed the death of a child at the ongoing referees seminar in Harare. Zifa said a female participant had brought her 2 children to the seminar, leading to the incident, and the child suffered a sudden death during the course of the day. And despite immediate efforts to render assistance, Zifa say the child could not be rescued. The matter has been referred to the Zimbabwe Republic Police, who are said to be handling the case in accordance with the law. Zifa also said they are cooperating with the relevant authorities during investigations and extended support to the bereaved mother during this difficult time. And still on sport, boxing fight nights return to Harare at the end of the month with the 6th edition of the Rise of Champions tournament. The event promises fireworks with 2 title fights and a star-studded lineup that also showcases rising talents ready to cause upsets. We get more in the following report.
Excitement is rising in Zimbabwean boxing circles as the country's best fighters step into the ring for one of the biggest events of the year. The Rise of Champions 6 fight night brings 10 solid bouts, including 2 title clashes and 6 international showdowns. Zimbabwe's Bongani Makorova headlines the card as he challenges for the WBF Bantamweight Africa title. Also in the spotlight is rising star Shungu Kupani, who takes on Fania Msekio of Mashingo for the national super bantamweight crown. With over 30 wins in the amateur ranks and a 3-2 professional record, Kupani is determined to shake off any underdog tag and strike gold in front of his own fans.
Support opponent yao. Saka unengo singaro ine munhu one, unengo singaro ine opponent chete. Unengo chirwa ne opponent ne crowd yake. Saka manje kana uri kumba manje. Unangoti uri murenyi wakacheuka ona mama pakona. Novoita shimwe sisimba.
Kupani draws inspiration from his stablemate, former WBF bantamweight champion Hassan Milanzi, who is also on the card and is facing Tanzania's Hamidu Kwata. Milanzi lost his belt in his last fight and has been steadily working on his comeback trail.
Every fight I take it serious. Every fight I take it serious, whether it's a title or non-title. If anyone comes and saying he wants to fight me, I always take them serious. I don't underrate anyone. So we have that same drive, and we're going to make the fans happy again. Like recently we had a fight and I had a loss. I don't blame it on my coaches. So all the things that we're doing before are the same things that we're doing now, but doing them a bit better and a bit harder.
In a sport where endurance is the currency and pain is inevitable, Kupani leans on both his inner drive and the support of his team.
What I hope say home crowd. Papo ndoko nofana push at the end. You can't disappoint. Home crowd knows a saber sport.
For coach Ali Otopiri, the stakes could not be higher. With his stable brimming with talent, he says that striking the right balance has been key to their ongoing success.
Discipline and hard work also takes discipline and hard work, and the guys, yeah, they've been showing up and they're very dedicated. They're very dedicated to the sport. So yeah, that's why it looks like it's been easy to go there, but yeah, it was tough. It's very tough to get there. It takes discipline and hard work.
The Rise of Champions tournament continues to grow in prestige and upholding the rich boxing heritage in Zimbabwe and giving homegrown talent a platform to greatness.
Now, Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah was named the Professional Footballers Association PFA Player of the Year on Tuesday, with the Egyptian becoming the first player to win the award 3 times. Salah, who joined Liverpool in 2017, was the Premier League's top scorer last season with his 29 goals along with 18 assists, playing a key role in the club winning the league title, finishing 10 points ahead of runners-up Arsenal. Now, the 33-year-old had already clinched the Premier League Player of the Season award, the Golden Boot for most goals scored, and the Playmaker award for most assists, making him the first player to win all 3 awards in the same season.
It's incredible feeling. I just want to thank everybody who voted for me. Doing that in Premier League and in that age, 33 now, so it's incredible. No, I just enjoyed my football. I remember like 10 years ago, I think I didn't make it well in Chelsea. Then say I'm gonna leave the country. I don't want to play here anymore. Then I went to Rome. Then it was always in my mind like this is the way I want to play. This is the football I want to play. Then I joined Liverpool. Then yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, of course, you know that. You had that always in your mind when you go somewhere and you didn't make it, and you know everybody knows here the media how big they are and what the story they write all the time. But also I look at myself now like a guy coming from Egypt and make it to the top level, make a history today. So it's something make me so proud.
And that's a wrap on Newsplus this Wednesday evening. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Have a good night.